What is up, YouTube? In our previous Battle Royale guide video, we covered looting. We covered the items that you need when you're going to loot, the buildings on where you can find them, and the towns and areas that are good loot spots. In this video, we're going to be touching on the next thing that comes right after looting, which is the blue circle. New players often have a lot of trouble with the blue circle. When I first started playing, I had quite a bit of trouble. So I'm going to try to lend you guys some knowledge so that you don't ever have to worry about dying to the blue circle early. The first thing I want to mention to you guys is that you need to check for the blue circle as soon as it spawns. As soon as you realize that the blue circle is up, check your map, see where the circle is spawned in at, and judge then how long it's going to take you to get to the circle. Are you in the circle already? If so, then you really don't need to worry about it. You can continue looting until you're fully kitted and then move on to positioning yourself in the circle. Now, let's say the circle, it's a moderate distance away, a couple kilometers. You don't have a vehicle, you're going to have enough time to run. You can travel about 300 meters per minute with a gun in your hands, and you can travel about 400 meters per minute when you don't have a gun in your hands, when your gun is bagged in your backpack and you're in a full sprint. So you got to know these distances so you know how long it's going to take you to get to that circle, so you give yourself a good window so that you're not going to be taking circle hits. If you have a car, it makes it even easier. The car, you're going to be able to get there pretty damn quick. I don't know exactly how fast you're going to be traveling in cars and meters per minute, but you're going to be pretty fast. If it's a circle far away, you're going to need a car. If you don't have a car and the circle's far away, you probably should drop what you're doing right then and then start running for the circle, or trying to run and find a vehicle. You don't want to play with the blue circle in the early game if it's super far away and it doesn't look like you're going to make it. If you're trying to run down the blue circle the whole time with it shrinking in front of you, you're probably going to end up dying. There is a chance that, maybe you missed when the circle spawned, you didn't give yourself enough time, you just forgot. People make these mistakes all the time. But it's good to know how to survive outside the blue circle, just in case you ever find yourself in one of these situations. I actually have a video. It's targeted at a more advanced player, but it's good to know the key things to that strategy. It's a sitting outside the circle strategy. You can actually stay outside the circle for up to about 4 shrinks and survive, but you have to have a lot of meds. The earlier circles, you don't have to have quite as many, but I'm going to put this video on the screen. There will be an annotation for it. You should go and check it out. You should see how you survive outside the blue circle, just so everybody knows how you can use boosters, how many hits you can take, how the timing is in between the hits. It might save your life, and it might make it so that you actually win more games and make it further into the games than you would have if you didn't know this information. So yeah, that video will be on the screen. Definitely consider checking that out as well. Now, I want to make it clear, I don't recommend newer players to try to use that strategy early on. Once you've got a little bit further in the game, then it would probably be a good time to try to use it. It's kind of a difficult strategy. It's not really for someone that's barely just started out in Battle Royale, but it's a good thing to know just in case you find yourself in a position where you need to survive outside the blue circle. So next thing I want to talk about is entering the circle in a good area, where you can enter the circle in a good area, and how you can set yourself up for the late game and to give yourself a better chance at winning the game by setting yourself up in a good spot in the circle. So let's talk about this. First thing that you need to know about going into the circle in a safe area is, where did the drop happen? For this instance, let's say that the drop happened exactly where I have my red marker, my coordinates marker on the screen. Let's say that's where the drop happened. Now, if you had watched the parachute Battle Royale guide video from earlier on, you would know that a lot of the time, a lot of players stay really close to the drop zone. Not that many people actually pull their parachutes and float really far away and get away from the loot. So let's say that the drop happened there. Let's say that you're coming in from the west side of Bozkata towards where the military base is. So if you're coming in that direction, right where that drop happened, there's going to be probably a lot of players in that vicinity. There's going to be a high density of players. If you go south and you go around the bottom and come into the circle, though, there's probably not going to be that many guys there. Maybe 1 or 2. It's a lot less likely that you're going to die that way. So you got to try to think of where players are going to be and enter through an area where players won't be. Those will probably be in the south of this circle and in the north. Now, if you could wrap all the way around to the east side, of course, there's probably not going to be that many people there. But in order to do that, you're going to have to go north or south. In this situation, if I was coming from the airbase and I had enough time and I could choose where I'm entering the circle, say I got a vehicle, I would probably want to drive south, go down, and come in through the bottom of the circle and take the road on the bottom side of Bozkata. Now, okay, you've entered the circle, you've got in safely. What should you do now? Now, there's multiple things you can do. This is where you start thinking about what strategy you want to do with the blue circle. Some people, they like to go and camp the center. Some people, they like to play the very edge of the circle. Other people, they might play in between. I like to play in between a lot of the time. There's no one way there's no one way to play Battle Royale. You could do many strategies and they all work. Now, but I'm going to give you guys something to think about. And this is a pretty good way to play, I would say, a lot of the time. If you're really trying to try hard, you don't want to fight that many people, you want to have the easiest Battle Royale game, and you want to try to get as many wins as you possibly can, this is honestly what I would recommend most people to do. So what I want you to do is picture the circle like it's a pie, and it's cut into multiple pieces. Let's say it's cut into 9 pieces. Now, we already said where the drop happened. So the drop happened over in piece 9, right? That's where my marker was. So the drop happened in piece 9. So what I'm thinking is that all the area over by piece 9, people are looting, and that's where they're running into the circle. What else am I thinking? Piece 1 up top is also going to have quite a few people in it. Piece 8 probably has got quite a few people in it. Now, what are the other pieces that probably got people in it? 2 and 3 probably have a few people in it because it's close to Marquez. It's a bigger city. It's a good place to loot. Now, what are the pieces that don't have people in it? 7, 6, 5, and 4 are probably the areas that have the least amount of people in the pieces. So what am I going to do? I'm going to swoop in to probably in between piece 6 and 5 and scoop up that giant piece of the pie and eat it all for myself. That's what I'm going to do. So basically what you're trying to think about in this situation is where the other players are, and you're going to position yourself as far away from them as you possibly can while you're moving up into the circle to make it so that you don't have to fight anybody all the way up throughout the whole game until the late game. You can make it to late game doing this pretty much every single time. This strategy, for the most part, it almost always works. Except for there's certain times where people are also doing the same exact thing and you're going to end up running into people. There's no guarantee that piece 6 and 5 are going to be 100% no one's going to be there. There's other good players that play Battle Royale, of course, and they're going to think the same thing, and so they might also move over there. So expect some people to be in those areas, but right now I'm thinking that 6, 5, 4, and 7, those are the best spots to be in. Those are the best spots to be moving up into the circle. Now, I want to give credit where credit is due. I never used to, this is kind of basic. This is basically how I used to think about the circle, like what side has the most people. But never did I ever hear someone make this pie reference before Mr. Break71 on Twitch. I was in his channel one day, and he was talking about his how he pictures the circle, and he was talking, picture it like a pie, and I thought that was a great idea. That's a great way to actually teach people and to explain to people what you're trying to do with this method. So this strategy can work on pretty much every single map in every single way. So let's hop over to Stratus. This is a screen capture from one of our streams earlier in the week. Let's jump into this. Let's say, once again, that let's say the drop happened where it always happens on Stratus. That it happens at Air Station Mike, right around Air Station Mike. That's where the drop went down. And let's say that we're coming from Camp Maxwell. Let's say that we looted Camp Maxwell. It's barely south of Air Station Mike, south and west of Air Station Mike on the map. So let's say that's where we looted. We're coming up into the circle. What do we expect players to be? There's going to be a ton right around Air Station Mike. On Stratus, a lot of people love to go YOLO. They love to go Air Station Mike and have a giant death match. They also love to go to Old Outpost, which is just barely north of where Air Station Mike is. So if we're coming from Camp Maxwell, what's the best way to come up into the circle? What I would say is you wrap around to the south, go over to about the east side in between the coast and where Air Station Mike is, and come in through there. It's going to be the area probably with the least amount of people. There's no real loot out there. Everybody's going to be still, over around Air Station Mike. You should be able to slip into the circle undetected. Now, once you're in the circle, once again, let's picture the circle like a pie, and let's cut it up into multiple pieces. Okay, so we entered in through the circle. We're down around piece 6 or 5. And where are the most people going to be in this circle now? So the drop happened, like I said, at Air Station Mike. So we can assume that there's still a lot of people in Pi 6. You can assume there's going to be quite a few people around Pi 7 because that's where Old Outpost is. Pi 8 and 9 is going to be where everybody funnels in from Aegea and the airbase. Up at piece number 1, there's Camp Rogaine, and over at piece 2 and 3, there's Camino firing range. So where can you position yourself to get yourself into the late game, into the final circles, without having to fight that many people? Probably in between piece 5 and 4 is where you're going to be able to position yourself. You're going to be able to move up from there, and you're not going to have to take that many fights. It's just this is just a way to basically give yourself the path of least resistance into the late game. And now, like I said, just like with the last circle, there might be people that think the same exact thing as you with this strategy, and there might be people out in 4 and 5, but there's not going to be as many as there are in the other pieces. And with that, this is going to conclude this video. You can use this strategy on basically every single map. You can use this Pi strat to just figure out where people are going to be and where you can likely position yourself to give yourself a good chance and make it into the late game. Hope this video helps you guys make it further in matches and get many more chicken dinners. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe for future content, plenty more videos coming out on the channel. Like always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.